Look, if you're the kind of person who believes that God is in his heaven, that he is a benevolent creator and that all will be well with the world, and that love can do everything that needs doing on this planet, don't watch this video. You only have to open your eyes to see that all that is stuff of Hollywood, spiritual Hollywood. So, you can see this is titled The Prigs. What is a prig? A self-righteously moralistic person who behaves as if they are superior to others. I get comments on this channel from lots of prigs. I'd rather I didn't, which is why I'm not switching comments on for this one, because I know I'll get a lot of these people commenting on this one. So the prigs are everywhere. There are climate prigs, there are diet prigs. I'll talk about them in a minute. There are obviously spiritual prigs. There are prigs of every kind, everywhere. People who, as it says, a self-righteously moralistic person who behaves as if they are superior to others. You must have gathered by now, I am not self-righteously moralistic. Quite the opposite. So, let's talk about, I'll save my best one till last. But let's talk about diet prigs. Have you had your raw veg this morning? Or your vegan meal? You should know, if you don't already know, I know this from hard experience, a decade of fucking illness that I couldn't get to the bottom of. There I go, swearing again. Nobody will listen, nobody will watch this. Oxalates. So in plant foods, in many plant foods, not all actually, but in many plant foods there are various poisons. Oxalates, lectins, salicylates and solanine. Oxalates are little crystals. All of these things are there to stop insects and other things eating the plant. So if the plant doesn't want to be eaten by insects or various little animals, then it probably doesn't want to be eaten by us either. So you'd expect the oxalates and lectins and salicylates and solanine to have a bad effect on us, and they do. So keep eating your raw veg. It's probably full of oxalates. Excuse me, I just need to blow my nose, it's itching. There we go. I know most people would have re-recorded this, but what the fuck? I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. So, oxalates, little crystals. I knew a woman who for years, and yeah, there will be people watching this who should be sending me donations because I've sorted their health problems out. So I knew a woman who for years suffered from cystitis, or the doctor told her it was cystitis. It wasn't cystitis, it was irritation from oxalates. She stopped drinking tea, stopped eating foods high in oxalates, things like beets, celery, a whole load of foods, vegetables particularly, that are high in oxalates. And hey presto, she doesn't have cystitis anymore. It never was cystitis. Not constantly taking antibiotics for a pretend illness that doesn't exist. Lectins. lectins can do all kinds of things to your body. They can destroy the mitochondria, so you feel tired and weak. Salicylates, I know about this one from bitter experience. I suffered with urticaria for a long time. I asked the doctor, does diet make any difference? No, diet doesn't make any difference, just take the fucking tablets. Anyway, it turned out to be salicylates. If you have problems with aspirin, then you've probably got a salicylate problem. Solanine. Solanine is one of the worst ones, actually. It's in the nightshade family, so things like tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes, chili. Solanine is a really, really nasty thing, and it can cause things like heart arrhythmias, amongst other things. I knew a guy a few years ago who had swallowed hook, line and sinker the whole raw veg story. In fact, he would, as though in true Prigs style, he would self-righteously moralize to people why they should have juiced beets for breakfast or something like that. And he suffers from sleeplessness, oxalates. Beets are full of oxalates. And heart arrhythmias. And he woofs down the nightshades like there's no tomorrow. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. There are very often reasons for people being having problems with sleep or heart arrhythmias that are nothing to do with this, but I'm talking about my own experience. And the growing body of literature that says actually we shouldn't be eating all these vegetables and things. And if we do eat them, we should eat them in a very processed manner. So, for example, it depends where you live. Where I live, it's called quinoa or quinoa, depending on where you live. This thing from South America. In South America, they pre-process quinoa extensively before they'll put it in their mouth. Not in the West. Quinoa is the latest health fad. Quinoa is loaded with oxalates. So, keep doing your raw veg, keep juicing, and become less and less well. I know a woman near to where I live who was a kind of disciple of all of this, and actually she made a living from telling people about their juicing and their raw veg, and she's been ill for about 6 bloody months. You can't tell her that it's all these poisons she's ingesting from raw vegetables and juices. So anyway, that's the diet Prigs. And well, I don't get any comments about that because I've never spoken about it before, but one thing I do get a lot of comments about, and I always delete them because they irritate me, is the people who claim to have some special insight or special experience or knowledge or something about love. They claim to be connected to universal love or to have experienced it or something of that nature. Look, love is ever so easy to understand. It's pleasure. You will love the things that give you pleasure. Simple as that. If something's given you pain, you won't love it. It's a really down-to-earth, simple definition. Why do people want to elaborate on all of that by this notion of universal love that they're in contact? Because they want to be fucking superior. Look, we're all little Hitlers inside, little Nazis, but no one wants to look at that. The reason I produced this actually was because of a comment that I got on the latest podcast. I might have left it on actually, feeling a bit generous. Somebody said, I hope Mr. Butler is getting exercise as well as producing these things. Well, look, to satisfy your priggish nature, I go for something like a 2-mile walk every morning. Not because I'm priggishly proud of it, but because I feel better when I do it. As simple as that. And besides, my dog won't let me not do it. But anyway, this person put a comment there. Somebody put a comment saying, yes, we should be outdoors more because for hundreds of thousands of years we've been outdoors. I mean, I hope you can see where this is going. So, if we do things that we've done for hundreds of thousands of years, if that's the measure of what we should do, then why don't we let everybody die from urinary infections, ear infections, chest infections, anything that needs antibiotics? Why don't we just let people die? Because they've been doing that for hundreds of thousands of years. If the qualifier for what we should do is that we've been doing it for hundreds of thousands of years, like being outside most of the time, and let's do that. Let's get eaten by large carnivores, because that happened for hundreds of thousands of years as well. Why don't we let our children die from poor hygiene? Because that happened for hundreds of thousands of years as well. The good old days when our kids died from poor hygiene, you can't beat it. Idiots. I know people who work outdoors. So for example, if a tree in the garden needs cutting or something, there are people who will come and do it. Very often these people are physical wrecks. They've done hard work all their life and their bodies have had it. Their back has gone, or their knees have gone, or they've damaged a hand or something. There's nothing superior about being outside all the time, getting fucking skin cancer or something. Anyway, I said I'd save the best till last. Spiritual people in the main are prigs. Self-righteously moralistic people who behave as if they are superior to others. There was a guy who put a video on YouTube. It's gone, I think. I can't find it anymore. And he clearly had been deeply involved in Mr. Gurdjieff's work. And he put this video on, and it had kind of umpar music, kind of brass band umpar music on it. And he was talking about Mr. Gurdjieff in terms of, well, he liked women and he liked food, and he said himself if he doesn't get enough food and sex, he gets vindictive. He says that himself in Life is Real Only Then When I Am. And there's this umpar music playing in the background, and he said, look, I know not many people are going to want to watch this because it hasn't got the spiritual music in the background, Mr. Gurdjieff's piano pieces, as boring and monotonous as they are. And it hasn't got some pictures of ancient Babylon or something in it, or Egyptian symbols. people think that by borrowing all these symbols and images and music, it gives credibility to what they're doing. And actually, for a lot of idiots that watch this kind of thing, it does. In the Gurdjieff tradition, if you get involved in the Gurdjieff tradition, you will meet a lot of prigs. It's the way they try and assert their superiority. They never laugh for a start. They are self-righteously moralistic, acting as though they are superior to you. Yeah, if you get involved in the Gurdjieff work, just be very careful. But it's not just the Gurdjieff work. Any kind of branch of so-called spiritual work is largely populated with prigs. I saw a guy I knew very well and liked a great deal, who was a coloured guy, put down in the most vicious manner by the El Supremo in a particular yoga movement. Priggish behaviour. It's horrible. Of course Christians do it. So, the prigs. Diet prigs. The old ways are the best prigs. And spiritual prigs. If you see priggish behaviour, it's probably best to avoid people who display that kind of thing.